How's it going, everyone? Today I'm doing a tier list of the best and worst finale fountains you can buy in California. We're going to be going from must-have at the very top to horrible at the very bottom, so let's get into it. I'll be ranking these fountains both based on the actual performance and also on the price tag / value. We're going to start with TNT fireworks, and our first fountain is Allegiance. This one, performance wise, is pretty good. It has strong crackle and about 2 minutes of burn time. But then you look at the price tag and it's a big fat $120.
Jesus Christ.
It is the single most expensive fountain you can buy in California, but clearly that does not mean it is the best, because there are several finales coming up on this list that are much better and for around half of the price. So I'm going to put Allegiance into the horrible tier. On to the next fountain, we have Atomic Salsa, which dropped in price from $85 last year to only $70 this year. This one has very good height and intensity on the crackle, and also just pretty nice effects in general. $70 is still very pricey, but considering this one was $100 only 2 years ago, I think it's a pretty good price, especially for a finale in California. So I'm going to put this one into the great tier. Next, we have Brainbuster, which I absolutely love the effects on, with these sprays coming out of the sides. However, I do not love the price point, as this one is $80. I would only really consider it if you have a budget of over $500. Otherwise, I would check out Phantom Fireworks and their $60 double punch 2-pack. You get fountains with very similar effects to Brainbuster, but for $30 each. They're not necessarily finale caliber like Brainbuster is, but they're still very nice if you want those effects in your show. Because of the price point, I'm going to have to put Brainbuster into the mediocre tier. However, I hope they drop the price in the future, because if this one's closer to $50 to $60, I could see myself ranking it much higher. And next, we have Candy Paint. If there was a tier below horrible, I would put it in that one, but I guess I'll leave it in horrible for now. This fountain is not $50, not $70, not even $100. This one is $110, which is even more egregious than Allegiance, because this one is a snooze fest in comparison. From a 500-gram fountain, you'd expect some big crackle at the end, but nope. In a fountain called Candy Paint, you'd expect really nice color, but nope. This one is an average fountain at best, and it's sold for a price 3 times what it should be. So make sure to stay away from this one unless you just enjoy being ripped off. All right, now we'll move on to one that I can actually give some praise to, and that is the Centennial XL. This one is very similar to Atomic Salsa. The crackle is maybe not as strong, but you get better color and effects on this one. It is also $70, dropping from $85 last year, and I would also put this one in the great tier, just another very good finale. Now we have Delirium, which is a classic from TNT. However, in my opinion, this one is very overrated. I had it in person a couple years ago, and I thought it was really underwhelming. And at the time, I think I only paid $50. So now at $70, it's not only mediocre, but it also is a very bad price point. This one might ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to put it into the horrible tier. It's not as bad as Candy Paint, and probably not as bad as Allegiance either, but I still don't like it. Our next fountain is Light Symphony, which dropped in price from $75 last year to only $50 this year. Last year, I would have put this one in horrible. This year, it is still going to be in mediocre for me. It is pretty much similar to a Candy Paint type of performance, which just shows you how horrible Candy Paint really is. Light Symphony, honestly, is probably a little bit better performance-wise, with some nice flying fish effects, and it's also less than half the price, but it's still only one tier above Candy Paint. So that really shows you the separation between Candy Paint and the rest of the crowd here. It is absolutely terrible. And then Light Symphony, solely because of the price change, gets a pass as mediocre. Next, we have Living the Dream, which, like Light Symphony, dropped in price from $75 last year to only $50 this year. This one is absolutely fantastic. The crackle is some of the highest, widest, loudest, and most intense you will ever see in your life, and it goes for nearly 2 minutes. This one is an absolute steal this year, and is definitely going to go in must-have for me. Hopefully the discounted price doesn't mean this one is being phased out, because it is absolutely awesome. Next, Next, we have Opening Show, an absolute classic 500 gram fountain from TNT Fireworks. Unfortunately, this one has really gone up in price over the years. I remember when it was only $50 and now it is up to $100. The performance is definitely a must-have, must-see type of show. However, because of that really high price, I think I'm going to put this one into the good tier. Once again, awesome performance. So if you have the money, it is worth it. Just really think the price is going to turn off a lot of people from this one, despite it being awesome, when you can get Living the Dream for half the cost. And Living the Dream, I don't think is too far behind in terms of how good the performance is. So yeah, going to put this one into the good tier. Hopefully we see it drop in price in the future. Our last fountain for TNT Fireworks is World Champ, which is new for this year and is $59.99. Honestly, this one is just the definition of mediocre. Some nice effects at the beginning. The crackle is decent. The price for this one is about 10 to 20 bucks too high. Honestly, it's okay. If you're looking to get a lot of big fountains for your show, then you might consider it. But there are so many ahead of it, like Living the Dream, Atomic Salsa, Centennial Fountain, etc., that I would get instead. Real quick, before we talk about Phantoms finales, I know a lot of you guys still buy assortment packs, which, if you aren't aware, are a complete ripoff. They are way overpriced, and my suspicion is that TNT fills them with cheap, watered-down fireworks to increase their profit margins. So, what I'd recommend is to completely avoid assortments and buy individual fireworks instead to put together your show, which I understand for most people is a bit overwhelming and kind of a headache, and that's why in my new budget guide video series, I did the hard work for you. I've made a bunch of these videos where I pick a specific budget and then put together a list of the best fireworks you can buy, which means you don't have to do any of the research. Just click on whatever video fits the dollar amount you'd like to spend and then copy down my list, and bam, you have an awesome 4th of July fireworks show that is way better than an assortment. I'll leave a link to my playlist of these videos in the description below, so make sure to check them out. And with that all being said, let's get back into the video and talk about Phantom's finale fountains, which, quite frankly, are really, really bad. There's 5 fountains that are definitely going in the horrible tier, so let's just run through them really quickly here. We have the Crown Jewel, we have Apache Fire Dance Premier, we have Komodo 3000, New York Harbor, and Coral Reef. Like I said, I'm putting all 5 in the horrible tier, and definitely deservedly. Phantom just refuses to innovate, at least when it comes to their finales, because these have all been around for over a decade now, most of them probably closer to 20 years, super outdated. Meanwhile, TNT is coming out with new finales pretty much every single year and completely whooping Phantom's butt. So go to TNT if you need finales. I'm not being paid to say that, it's just facts. So, after all that dogging on Phantom Fireworks, just want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more fireworks content coming soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one.